and welcome to City Beat. I'm your host, Jaret Schneider, and joining me today by phone is Mayor Tim Johnston. Welcome, Mayor Johnston.
Good morning.
He's not here live in studio, but we are still taking your calls. To kick off the show, I'll give you a minute to run things down from the past week, as well as anything that might be coming up.
Well, just a couple of things, I guess, to highlight over the last week. The first being, I just want to acknowledge the Remembrance Day service that took place at the Thompson Regional Community Center, and thank the Royal Canadian Legion, the Army, Navy, Air Force vets, as well as representatives of RCMP, Thompson Fire Emergency Services, Knights of Columbus, and a number of other organizations, especially the youth organizations that attended the service. And again, I think that to remind residents that really it is a day of remembrance and an obligation in terms of paying our respects and our appreciation to those that have served and provided the quality of life that we all enjoy in Canada and certainly in our community in Thompson. Also, over the weekend, we saw the return of real cold weather, and with that, we saw a couple water breaks in the community, two major ones, one being on Martin Bay, which is being repaired today, and one being on Cree Road, which was repaired yesterday. So this looks like we're back into that season. I encourage and urge caution in and around construction zones, and safe operations always when people are in and around those areas. In terms of some of the upcoming events that we have, Dawn just mentioned the issue regarding wolves and coyotes, and again, I encourage people that if you do have some sightings, please call Manitoba Conservation at the number noted, and as well, we put up some information with some tips on what residents should do as provided by Manitoba Conservation on our website. And the last one is just to let people know that along with Councillors Kalata and Sensky and City Manager Sepatelli, I am in Winnipeg attending the Manitoba Mining Conference, but also this afternoon we will be meeting with the Minister of Justice as well as the Minister of Housing regarding items of importance in the City of Thompson.
All right, thank you, Mayor Johnston. The number to call for wolves and any coyote sightings would be Manitoba Conservation at 1-800-782-0076. We've talked about this before. Again, you've already mentioned it. There has been more sightings of wolves and coyotes in town. We're up to about 10 different calls in the past 2 weeks, and even Regional Services Superintendent Lyle Siskowski has said not to leave pets and dogs outside at night. What are some things you can remind residents when it comes to wolves and wildlife moving right on into town?
Well, I think the first thing to remind people is that we do live in a heavily forested area in northern Manitoba, and wildlife is a part of the quality of life that we do enjoy. I think that there's some simple tips, again, as noted by Manitoba Conservation, just in terms of ensuring when you're walking your pets that they're on leashes, that you're ensuring that food is not stored outside for your pets, and that you're feeding inside. So I think that there's some of those tips that people can follow. And again, to ensure that where there are encounters, follow the tips as provided by Manitoba Conservation. We do not want to see any incidents, and what we're been made aware of is Manitoba Conservation is dealing with the item or the issue, and we'll continue to do that in terms of addressing the problems of the wolves and coyotes.
204-677-8181, taking your calls to the Mayor, 204-677-8181. You mentioned that you are in Winnipeg for the conference. What types of things are you doing there?
Well, the mining conference is an event that the City of Thompson attends on an annual basis, and traditionally Councillor Kalata has been one of the councillors that's attended. I've attended over the last number of years, and it's an opportunity really to promote Thompson as a great mining community, both in terms of the presence of Valley as a major economic pillar in our community, but also promoting Thompson as a regional service center for the mining industry. And I think that that's something that we really need to enhance our profile. Thompson plays a very important role as that geographic center of the North, and the North is continuing to see exploration and development of mines, and we have to ensure that people know that Thompson is a great place to do business if you're in that industry, and it's one of the industries that I think is Thompson. We need to take pride that we are a great mining community, and we need to promote it. So today we'll be attending an event later on this evening where I will have a chance to address all the delegates, and tomorrow morning we're going to be attending a lunch with the Premier to talk about the future, and I know Valley will have some representatives here as well. So it's a good opportunity again to promote Thompson at this event, and I think that one of the things that we need to do as a community is really enhance that profile of Thompson as a strong mining community in Manitoba.
204-677-8181 is the number to call to get your questions to the mayor. 204-677-8181. Back in Thompson now, I've noticed that McLean Park is starting to look a lot more finished. They a couple of days ago laid some dirt, and some of the poles are now upright. What are their plans in getting the project completed, even with the snow that we've gotten?
Well, McLean Park is virtually done in terms of the contractor's work that can be done this year. There will be some additional work that will be required in the spring, likely some of the sidewalk work that will have to be done, and the sod will have to be laid down. But the grading has been completed, so the basic shape of McLean Park is done. We'll be adding the canopies on the stage area and over the audience area next year. But the work for this year is pretty much done. They're just getting the site prepared for winter and to ensure a safe environment for people in and around McLean Park over the winter.
204-677-8181. It is the last day for the bylaw enforcement on Saturday, and they did have some recent numbers come out on Monday. How do you think the numbers looked, as well as how big of a help to the police were they while they were here over the summer?
Well, I think without a doubt the numbers are in some ways beyond belief in terms of the issues that they are asked to deal with. But as I always say, that is a reality. And for me, the program has once again been a success because we've been able to address some of those matters and deal with them. If we hadn't have employed Prairie Bylaw, I can tell you the situation would have been far worse. So part of the discussion that we'll have with the Minister of Justice today is on the need for the province of Manitoba to authorize and support the City of Thompson in the introduction of a cadet program for next summer. That program is running in Winnipeg. The Premier of this province promised to expand it beyond the boundaries of Winnipeg in the last provincial election, and we're going to hold them accountable for that. I really believe that the cadet program is the answer. It will give us the added ability to enforce liquor statutes, things along those lines, and so we're going to be asking very clearly today the Minister to support that. We will have a program in place in the summer of 2013. We hope it is the right program. We think we know what the right program is, and that is going to be based on the same model as they use in Winnipeg with the cadet program.
204-677-8181, taking your calls to the mayor. Would you be able to give us a little bit of an update on where things sit with Valet in regards to the Birch Tree mine?
Well, I can tell you that on November the 2nd, along with Murray Niche Pork from the United Steelworkers and Lover Frolic from Valet, I traveled to Winnipeg and we met with representatives from Valet, including Peter Papinga from Toronto, and Ministers Ashton and Chomniak in Winnipeg. I thought it was a very positive discussion, and there's a commitment from all those stakeholders to move forward in terms of continuing the dialogue and working to ensure that Thompson has a strong future as a great mining community, not just in Manitoba and Canada, but quite frankly in the world. And I've said it before, I have tremendous confidence in the leadership that we have at the local level, and specifically Lover Pollock and Murray Niche Pork, that I think one of the real strengths we have is that local leadership and the willingness to work cooperatively and look for solutions to ensure that Thompson has a long-term sustainability as a mining community.
Oh, absolutely. 204-677-8181. What types of plans does the city have for the couple of water breaks that we've had over or away to prevent them from coming in the future?
Well, the single biggest plan that the City of Thompson has with respect to water breaks is the introduction of the water utility a couple of years ago, which for the first time allows us to actually replace water lines as opposed to just patch them. Now, obviously, when a break takes place, we have to address it immediately and do the patch, but the long-term plan is for the replacement of water mains and sewer. And as I indicated, this is the first year where we're actually doing some work, and the work is going to be completed in the Brandon Crescent area. We had hoped to do some work as well, I believe, in other areas of Eastwood. I'm not sure that the weather is going to allow us to do that this year. We likely may have to defer that to the spring, but the long-term and the only plan that is going to work to reduce those numbers over the long term is replacement, and that's what we're now able to do because of the water utility.
All right, great. And we're running out of time. So lastly, before we go, I'll give you a minute to wrap things up.
Well, just a couple things. Again, the winter is upon us. Urge people to take caution, especially driving. I understand the crews are on the street. I was speaking with administration this morning, and we are on the street. Priority 1 streets are going to be cleared today, and we'll continue to move down the line. I can advise that in today's meetings with Justice, we'll be talking specifically on the Northern Restorative Justice Facility, the Crime Severity Index, the Cadet Program, and policing costs, which we want to draw the attention. We believe it's unfair, the amount of money that Thompson taxpayers are asked to contribute to policing costs versus other communities. And with housing, it'll focus on the detox, affordable housing, and transitional. So I'm looking forward to those meetings and being able to report on that next week.
That will do it for the City Beat this week. I would just like to thank Mayor Tim Johnston for coming once again today.
Thank you.
And make sure to tune in every Thursday at 11:30 for more news from the Mayor and Council. And for all the listeners, have a great rest of your day.
City Beat will be back next Thursday morning at 11:30 with more of the Mayor's...